you say the Mama Podcast?
Mama Podcast.
Hi Mama, you're listening to the Mama Podcast. It's Sumaya here, the co-founder of Mama Emmy app. Mama Emmy is the first app to exclusively connect mothers across the Middle East, connect with like-minded mamas and create lifelong friendships. At Mama, we are all about connecting mamas to empower women. So let's join together and make this mission a reality.
I'm back again this week with an awesome episode with Sara from Citron, Dubai. This brand is absolutely incredible and this lady is even more inspiring. Thank you for bearing with me last week. You must have seen on social media that we were in London for quite a few months, but we managed to get back last week. So last week was all about getting back into a routine and setting our schedule again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I've been up to a lot, so I'm happy to share with you all the journey and what's happened and where we're going.
Yeah, so you started Citron in 2017. So this is quite interesting, isn't it? Because you dropped your son off to nursery when he was around 14 months, is that right?
Around 16 months, so about correct.
And then yes.
Here is what happens. So my son, when he was exclusively breastfed for 18 months. He's never taken a bottle or anything. And I used to work full time at the time, so it was like just horrible. So basically, at 6 months when we started introducing the solids, he started showing signs of fussy eating. He wouldn't open his mouth. He never liked anything. He hated the spoon. So very quickly we moved on to giving him larger and larger pieces where he enjoyed much more. And during that journey, I noticed that he didn't like his food to be touching. He liked only very plain white color food until today. For him, white is a sign of safe to eat. So basically, at home, I had everything in place for him to have food not touching and everything. And came the nursery, I had no idea. I called my friends. I'm like, hey, I need a lunchbox. Where do I get that from? And they're like, just get this brand, it should work. So I get the brand, they told me. I put the stuff in and I go pick him up from nursery and the teacher says, oh, he cried because his food was touching. It leaked, the berries touched the rice and chaos. So he didn't eat anything. At that point of time, I had to drop him back again to nursery the next day. And I was the mom with like 7 small boxes.
Right.
Because that was the only thing I could find. And the teacher was a bit annoyed saying, oh, there are those ones with compartments we saw here and there. So I started doing some research and figured there was nothing available in the UAE basically. So I got it from the States. So I got all the brands that were available at that point from the States. I bring them and then I start packing and then I find them either too small or too big. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't have the size that he needs. What do I do now? So then this is how it started. We went ahead, found the manufacturer in China, did the size, the designs, all we liked. And then because the minimum order quantities in China are quite big, they have told us that 3,000 per color was the minimum we could get. So I did negotiate with them to give me 3 colors, 1,000 each. So we did go ahead with 3,000 pieces as a first order. We couldn't print much on it apart from the logo. And we just brought them and within a week, they were sold out.
That's
like
amazing.
A week, 10 days. So this is where I realized I was not the only crazy mother in the UAE.
Yeah, that all the moms needed that. So, I mean, as a mom, it's quite, when you first send your child to nursery, that sort of initial transition into them going to a nursery is a challenge in itself, isn't it? The emotions that you feel as a mom, the fact that you're obviously leaving your child with somebody else all day. And then on top of that, you must have had that worry that, oh my gosh, he might not eat his food. Like that as a combination must have been quite stressful.
It was quite stressful. So as every child, he was crying. He was not happy to go. But then on top of that, he was not eating. So he was cranky all the time. So for sure, his first weeks at nursery were horrible because we were trying to sort out his food. And, by now I understand this child needs snacks every 2 hours. So he used to stay in nursery for 4 hours without eating more than one grape and one strawberry that didn't touch.
Oh
So
gosh.
that was horrible for him and for me and for the teacher and for everybody. Now, the funny part here is that until very recently, I did have a full-time job. So I am an investment banker by degree. I used to be a consultant at McKinsey, and then I worked for a very long time, like 7 years, in corporate strategy and investment for a very large media group in the UAE. So I'm a numbers person, and I have no idea what plastic, safety, all that stuff, like the technical materials are. So when we launched and we started, and the manufacturer were asking me questions, and I'm like, just give me the best quality, the safest thing. And they were like, no, but do you want TPPT or TPPTG? I'm like, what are you talking about? And it took me a very long time, and I'm still not a technical person, you know. I just apply like logic to things, and a lot of time I take decisions, try some stuff work quite well, and some stuff were like a huge mistake. Like we did those bamboo lunch boxes made of 100% of bamboo, but nobody told me that if you don't put melanin, which are this cancer-causing plastic that nobody wants, the bamboo became breakable, very easy to break. So we ended up with like a huge quantity of pure bamboo lunch boxes that are not really, I mean, we still sell them, but I mean, I keep on getting people saying, oh, my son dropped it and it's broke. And I'm like, yeah, it would break because it's like literally bamboo with cornstarch. So just imagine what it is.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if you eat it, nothing will happen to you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, sorry, I know it's horrible, but it is what it is. It breaks because I decided not to put any nasties in it. Now, if we do put nasties, then it doesn't break, and it still gives you the feeling that it's bamboo, but it's not really.
Right.
So my mantra is always very simple. I always say, whatever I wouldn't give to my kids, I wouldn't sell. So I take this very, very, very seriously. And I am, as I told you, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a technical person. I have no idea about product design. I'm not a designer. I wouldn't be able to draw a circle perfectly, to be honest. The only thing I know is I have an in-house full-time designer with whom I work quite a lot, and I drive crazy. The only thing I know is that I have a style in mind, and I have things that I like and things that I don't like. So this is all I can tell her. And by now, after 3 years, she knows me. But from day one, we're alone.
I mean, I'm sure she probably designs things and knows that, you know, she probably already can guess which ones you'll prefer and then work on that.
Yes. And every year we try to get better and better. This year we had the superhero in Dubai skyline.
Yeah, I love that, by the way. The Batman. And I showed my husband and he was like, could I have one?
Yeah, my husband got one. It's so funny. And my son told me yesterday, because we have launched a cookie cutters for Halloween, and my son was like, can I have the superhero in the dark? What did he call it? The superhero in the dark with like a Batman witch. I'm like, what is a Batman witch? He's like, you don't know it. I'm like, okay, fine. So apparently this is quite trendy now. It's called the Batman witch. I have no idea what is a Batman witch, but it's something to do with Halloween, apparently. It's not the witch hat. It's a Batman with the witch. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, at least you can get some inspiration from your son.
Yes, he is the source of my inspiration. And I have twin daughters that are 10 months old. And they are the source of inspiration of the new collection and a new segment we're launching, which is baby feeding plates, bowls, and a lot of feeding products. Because while I was with them here during the lockdown and we started again introducing the solids, I just realized that there were few things that were not available. And I was like, okay, I need to make them. If I could make the lunch boxes, and those are like much more technical than the plates, I can make the plates. Yeah. So yeah, we are on a new ventures of making new stuff that are being patented as we speak.
That's
The
amazing.
patents take a bit of time, but hopefully the patent will get out and we can kick off by end of this year.
That's so exciting. What I love about your food jars are great too, because do you know the insulated food jars?
Yes.
I used those a lot when my daughter was younger because she preferred like the home cooked food. So like things I
Yes.
would make at home. So it was great just to like pack and put in my bag. So I knew even if we were out in a
Yeah.
restaurant that I always had like a backup meal for her.
Yes, those, I mean, you see, my son never ate in a restaurant. So until today, if we go to restaurants, he would eat like if they have any fish fingers or anything, or he would eat plain bread or plain rice or plain pasta. So I never count on restaurants as a food option for him. So I'm always carrying food. He never ate one single thing from an airplane platter. Never. So I'm that mom that has to travel with like a lot of food packed, and I have to make sure it stays fresh, and I have the ice packs and all that stuff. So yeah, I do know where you're coming from, and the food jars. Until today, he uses them because when he wakes up in the morning, he tells us what he wants. So
Right.
he would be like, today I would like the food jar with some pasta bolognese. That's it, and some fruits. So he would say, and that makes life easier.
Yeah.
This week he's been stuck on just wanting rice, so we give him rice. So it depends on his mood, but he's okay to eat rice cold, but not pasta. So it's a bit weird.
You must be like always carrying around a really heavy bag with you. Like I
Oh
feel
God.
sorry for the amount of food that you must have to carry around with you.
I mean, it's heavy, it's bulky, it's big, but I mean, two things. I make sure that we give him 99.9% homemade food. So even if we're packing a pizza or anything, it's something we do from the dough to the tomato paste to everything. I
Wow.
mean, we cook everything at home. And the second thing is, for me, the most important is that he eats something that has some kind of nutritious value. So thanks to those boxes and the compartments and the accessories, he's now eating avocado, cucumbers, oranges. I mean, so many things, tomatoes that he would never ever have touched a few years ago when we just started all this. He's never had a sandwich, and he started last year accepting to have a dino sandwich because he thought dinosaurs were cool. And when he opened his lunchbox at school, all his friends were like, "Oh, you're lucky you have a dino." So there's a lot of peer
Yeah.
pressure, I feel, when it comes to food, and he knows that he's picky and his friends just eat anything, like anything. And he's like, "Oh, my friend today had broccoli and he loved it, so I want to try broccoli in my lunchbox tomorrow." So we're like, "Yeah, sure, fine." Please
That's
be my guest.
Yeah, that's awesome because like at least you can introduce new foods through introducing them in a different way. I'm sure so many moms are happy that you actually have given them the opportunity to use all these different cutouts and like different ways to introduce new
Yes.
foods.
So the idea was also very simple, is that me as a mom, I had a lot of theory of, I mean, I used to go on Pinterest and get recipes and get all that stuff, but I didn't have the tools to do these things.
Yeah.
So the tools didn't exist. The cutters were not here. The lunch boxes were not here. Everything to make the food fun and cute was not existent here.
Mhm.
So the idea was like, why don't we give the mothers to not only the theory, we will tell you you could do this, but then, okay, I can tell you can do that, but you need to ship it from the States. Why? You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
idea was, let's give the mother all the tools to make her life easier and make the kid have a fun lunch time. So and it works.
Yeah, I mean, how cool is that? And also, it must be quite interesting that you can just pack these boxes when you go out for like a picnic or if you're going out to the beach.
Yes.
And, it's a
Yeah.
great way to actually transport food. So it's not just for lunch, really. I'm sure like
No.
moms are using them for other activities as
Honestly,
well.
like my son, I mean, yesterday I dropped him to football, from home to football. He was eating his snack in the car. He didn't have time to eat it there. He didn't finish his snack. It stayed in the car. I picked him back again after an hour. He finished his snack in the car. So for me, I always, always, always have a snack box with me, and he never, ever leaves the house without a water bottle.
Yeah.
So the water bottles again were created based on a need, because I used to pick him up from his football, and last year he was playing outdoors, and he wouldn't drink a sip of water after like 1 hour of football, and I'm like, Ali, you need to drink water, and he's like, Mommy, but it's hot. And this where I realized that the plastic water bottles where we live here are probably not the best option, because the water becomes kind of hot and the kids don't want it. So we did create those ones. It was like double insulated, and we made sure after testing so many months that it works. And then we launched them, and they're like a total hit. I mean, literally everybody's saying, oh wow, the kids are drinking more, the water stays cold and fresh. We love it. So most of the products come from a real need and a real gap in the market. It's not any marketing gimmicks or stuff like that. They're like, really, they work. I mean, I'm even surprised myself, to be honest with you. Like, I have the big water bottles. I take it with me in the morning, and I keep it in the car throughout the day. Yeah. And whenever I'm thirsty, I just drink, and I'm always surprised that the water is cold, because my car stays outside in like 45 degrees and still the water is cold. So, and I can show you like hundreds of messages of mothers telling us, oh, thank you, the water is really cold, it does work, and all that stuff. So very, 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 very happy with the water bottles that we actually launched in during the lockdown. They arrived in April.
Wow. The insulated bottles are incredible, because I think it's not just the fact that it keeps the water cool. Plastic leaves a taste in the water, right?
Yeah.
You've opened a plastic bottle, or you've had like even the reusable plastic bottles, after a few months, the water tastes different. It tastes funny when you put water in there. I had a very similar experience with my daughter, where she just stopped drinking water, and I couldn't figure out why she'd gone from drinking quite a bit of water to not much at all. And when I took a sip out of her plastic bottle, you could taste that the water tasted really funny. Like, we'd had it for a few months, and like I'm definitely a huge fan of insulated bottles. I think they're incredible.
They're really good, and we're working on a new technology to be launched by next year, which will be to make sure that as a mom again, I lose quite a few stuff of my son. So we're gonna start having a tech that will be able to trace the products.
Wow, that would be awesome.
The idea is that if somebody finds it, he can just scan a code, and then it sends the owner a message saying this person found it, if you want to get in touch with him and get it back for you. And this will be so useful also for the schools, because the lost and found is horrible.
I was just going to say that I'm sure the schools will be so happy you implemented that.
Yeah.
They can just send everyone a message to say your bottle's here. Come and collect.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very easy to use. It's just a picture that you need to take, and this literally sends a message on the spot. So yes, we have so many things coming up, and it's very exciting. The only thing I don't have is the time.
I was actually just going to come to that. You do so much. It seems like you're doing so much with the company, and then you've got 2 twins, which honestly, like, that is incredible that you've managed to raise twins, because one is hard enough. So I'm like, I don't know how.
Yeah, and with the twins, I went like literally the opposite direction than with my son. Like before the call, I was just downstairs, and they wanted a snack, and I just found a leftover burger that my husband cooked for lunch, and I just gave it to them, and they just ate it. And I'm like, there you go, just eat anything you find. Not be a difficult person. And they looked at me, I'm like, whatever, just eat anything. And I don't know, it's a lot of learnings, but I'm just trying my best to introduce them every single type of food before they start saying, I don't like it. Like, I made like tuna pasta last week, just so they can eat some of this, because my son would never try those things.
Did they try it?
Oh yeah, they tried it, they ate it.
Oh,
no
amazing.
problem.
It's interesting. I hear that so much, that when you come to your second, you're just way more relaxed, and you kind of just whatever.
I didn't even Google if you can give. I mean, with my son, I used to Google every new food. When can I introduce this to my baby? And I'm like, whatever.
They'll turn out okay.
Will happen. Try it.
Yeah.
Try it. I'm sure you'll eat it. And yeah, and they're twins, so they're very competitive between each other, which is very interesting. But I'm just trying to learn from my mistakes and also see what works and what doesn't. But for sure, thanks to my son's fussiness, we sold quite a few of lunch boxes and snack boxes. So I'm very happy that we helped so many moms that are struggling like us.
Yeah, I mean, at least you find the sort of silver lining in all of the fussiness that your son brought, because there was a need for this, and at least you actually managed to identify that need.
Yes, we're very happy with that.
How do you manage your time between having sort of three really young children, because they're all under 5, and actually managing a business as well that's doing incredibly well?
Here is the trick. I have an incredible team that is doing almost everything. I rely quite a lot on them. I'm somebody that so I work the morning until about 3-4 p.m. and then from 4 to 6 I'm with the kids, and then I start working again when they sleep. So I usually go to bed between 10-11, and I have about 3-4 hours, evening hours, where I don't have any staff member, any clients, anyone sending me an email, and I just catch up on all the work for the day. I just find the evening to be like much more productive because I just don't have anybody to talk to. I do try to train 3 times a week. So I train with my husband. We do like some sort of intense yoga workout that we like to call yoga, but I don't think it's nothing to do with yoga. It's like TRX with like yoga with stretching plus some kind of cardio. So it just keeps me sane and keeps me going. But so I used to have a full-time job until beginning of this year, right? And I had a friend that was so I had Citron, and I had a friend that was managing all the operations, right? But then in December she just tells me my husband is going back to France, so I'm going back with him. And then at that point of time I just delivered the twins, and I'm like, oh, what do I do now? I need to focus on Citron. I need to give Citron my 100%. Citron is my baby also. And I know that I'm not going to have more kids and I'm done. So I need to spend time with the twins. And I can't be spending time with the twins, giving time to Citron, and then working full time. And my job, I worked with like the CEO of a very large company, and we were working from 8 a.m. to midnight daily, and we had like so much things going, and it was just not possible to manage anymore. So I did resign in February of this year, and then from that time until now I'm just having the time. Like now I can sit with the twins for 2 hours a day, I can train for 1 hour, and I totally disconnect. It means I'm not touching my phone, I'm not doing anything, and I'm not feeling guilty about it. So this is what Citron has given me. Obviously, I used to earn a huge salary. I mean, by huge, like very, very large, and which I don't have today. But my lifestyle hasn't changed, and it's just that I feel happier that I have time to spend with the kids versus feeling always stressed and in panic that I have to answer this email, I have to finish this now, and all that stuff. So it's just a totally different experience from corporate to doing your own thing and doing the thing that you're passionate about, and finding the time to spend quality time with your kids without feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, it's so interesting you say that it's different. I mean, being an entrepreneur comes with its own challenges, right? Like now the responsibility is on you to make sure that, the business goes a certain way. With that comes a little bit of flexibility. So I mean, obviously you're working, you can take that gap in the middle of the day, but it does come with different challenges, doesn't it?
Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, I think it's a big roller coaster. You have the highs are super high. Like I was like dancing at some point, and my husband is looking at me. He's on a call, and he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm so happy. I'm just receiving the sales out report from the stores, and we're just rocking number one position in terms of sales in like all the major retail stores. And then the lows are very low. So at some point of time, I had an issue with the warehouse. I had an issue with customs, with the tax authorities. I mean, some stuff that I wasn't even aware of. And those things are super scary, and you need to be strong and just carry on. So it's a true roller coaster. Like it's really up and then it's really down. And the key, I think, is just to carry on. And my understanding from, I mean, all the events I do and all the entrepreneurs I talk to and stuff is that there are more lows than highs, but it's all worth it at the end, especially if it works.
Yeah, and if you're passionate about the thing that you're doing, then that really sort of is the thing that drives you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what drives me, I mean, for me, as I was saying, and I keep on saying, and I think a lot of people don't think that makes sense, but I didn't launch Citron to be a millionaire and be rich. That was not the case, because if that was the case, I would have gotten the cheapest possible product and done some marketing and sold it very expensive, made some many high margins and do different things. That was not the case. The case was like, okay, let's get a product that works, that the mothers like, and try. And we're still not profitable as a business because we still need the UAE as a market, although we're like number one in terms of back to school and lunchboxes sales and everything here, we still are very far from the volumes you need to actually make proper money. So you will need like to be number one in Saudi and be number one in Egypt and be number one in 2-3 big countries, then it becomes an interesting business, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So UAE, we cracked it, but it's still not enough because there are only 1 million children in the UAE.
Yeah.
And out of that 1 million, if you just take, we are like selling 60 to 80,000 products. So that's like 5 to 6% penetration. I mean, that's the maximum you would get. I mean, you can get 10%, but you have the socioeconomic differences, you have the age, you have so many things. So out of the 1 million, maybe your target audience is 200,000, 300,000, you know, that can afford and are on the right age group. So you're quite limited in terms of volume versus like Saudi, where you have 7 to 10 million kids, you know? So
but you've tested
much more interesting.
So you've tested it in the UAE and it works in the UAE. So I guess now it's a case of extending past that border and going into sort of neighboring countries first. And then I'm assuming you've got a bigger sort of goal in mind, and I'm assuming you're trying to go worldwide.
Yes, we do. So this year, as of now, as of today, our first shipment has hit Saudi and is getting dispatched to go to not offices, to stores and online stores and offline. So I think within a week or two we will have a big announcement about Saudi Arabia that we're going full-fledged there. We signed a distribution agreement and we're very happy about it, and we think that would work. I'm working with Egypt. It's a little bit of a tricky situation because the Egyptian government is very protective of because Egypt is a producer of plastic products.
Right.
So some products are very hard to put there, but we're working with another amazing mummy that loves the brand and owns the distributorship, and that really wants the Egyptian moms to have the product. So that's the number two. I have had so many calls and discussions with distributors for the UK and the US. So those are like big markets where, again, you need to be there because this is where the volume and the scale is. So I'm sure that the UAE, as you said, is just a test market, but unfortunately is an expensive test market because the salaries, the license, and all the cost of operating are quite high. So you can't be testing for so many years.
It's exciting times ahead, though. It seems like you've got a lot going on and a lot of exciting things happening. Congratulations with Saudi, and obviously then on from there as well. So such exciting things happening for you at Citron.
It is very exciting, and I'm very proud and happy that this small project that literally I opened the Instagram page as fun. And it started as a fun project on the side, ended up being like my plan A and something that I'm very passionate about, and that's a lot of moms love. So I'm kind of very grateful.
Yeah, your story is so inspiring. And I know that there are so many moms that find you so inspiring. So yeah, I'm really grateful that you're sharing this conversation with me.
Of course,
on the
pleasure, always happy.
Let's just take it back to motherhood for a second. Let's just talk about your transition from obviously an investment banker who works really long hours to having a child. How did you deal with the transition? How did it feel for you?
So when I had Ali, so I used to be an investment banker. Then I worked as a consultant in McKinsey for 3 years.
Right.
And I left consulting because I thought I couldn't do it anymore, travel every week and all that stuff. And I needed a family, right? So I was like already 28, 29, and I was like, okay, I'm approaching my 30s. Maybe now it's the time to start, being more often in Dubai and thinking about having a family. When I got Ali, I was not at McKinsey anymore. I was in the media company I was working for here in Dubai. And it was interesting because I am somebody that is quite hyper and workaholic. So I usually used to work every day until late night, and I would be bothered if I had nothing to do after 6 p.m. My husband was also working a lot, so we just no work, right? He's never at home. I finish at 6, I feel bored, right? So I used to always like, if I was working on a financial model, it would be like the most good looking financial model you will ever find, because I would spend so much time making it not just working but look good. So it's once I had my son, I think my life was like turned upside down, because all of a sudden I'm somebody that needs 5 hours of sleep minimum to be able to function, and that was lost. And then all of a sudden I didn't have that extra time to be extra good at my work, and I needed to be more efficient because I wanted to be with my son, right? So the Sara that used to spend 13-14 hours of work a day had to do the same work in 5-6 hours, because I wanted to finish quickly, come home, see him before he sleeps, and then work again when he sleeps. And meanwhile I was working on Citron also, and when he was older, but still the whole way of working and doing things has changed once I had Ali. And I think the biggest learning here is that the 80-20 rule is very important, and working very efficiently and making sure you're finishing the things you're supposed to do, and not, I am somebody that loves excellence and always push more for more. Even with the people who work with me, they know that. I don't accept that somebody does not answer my emails for 4 or 5 days. For me, this is just outrageous. It doesn't work like this. I know that this works like this in the UAE and it's quite normal. I'm somebody that will answer your emails maximum within the same day and minimum within an hour. So sometimes I would answer within 10 to 15 minutes. I cannot sleep at night if I have unanswered emails. I wouldn't do it. And that I'm telling you, sometimes I have 200 emails in one day. I will make sure that I will skim through whatever needs my attention and needs my answer. I will answer it on the spot. So I've been trained like this, and I expect people to work like this, but unfortunately they don't.
Yeah. What do you do to sort of encourage them then?
Well, honestly, like my team, they know me by now, so they know not to be scared if they receive an email at 6 a.m. on a Friday that I don't expect them to answer, but they know that I would expect them to do things the same day. So if I request something, I do tell them if it's urgent or if I need it the same day or stuff like that, especially on the admin side. I don't like to keep anything pending or any invoices, anything that we need to send, just like wait for next week or wait for after the weekend and stuff like that. Finish it and go sleep, no problem. Nobody would call you. But if we do have urgent things and things to be closed, I always expect it to be done daily. Now, my issue here in the UAE is that talent is very hard to find, and talent comes from very different cultures, and some people were trained that answering or updating things once a month is the norm. For me, I tell them, you guys, I mean, we have so many things, so many systems and trackers and Excel sheets and I mean, so many things that needs to be updated daily. Otherwise, it piles up and you have no clue what is what, and it takes you forever to reconcile. So I just think, look, I push everybody to do their best, and then some can, some cannot, and it is what it is. You know, if you want to work with me, you just have to try for excellence and not average. I tell everyone I don't accept average in anything. Average for me is bad. So and if you don't do great, we can't work together. Like
Yeah,
there is nothing worse for me than receiving like an email with tons of typos and mistakes everywhere because you read half of the email and you did spend 2 minutes trying to read again and those kind of things.
yeah. So I think what I take from that is communication, that you're really clear with what you want from your team members, which is great because at least they know what the expectation is. And the other thing I take from that is actually you want people to do better at what they can do. So that's amazing. I think if you can be in a job, in a role where you can actually improve as a person and as an employee and as like, you know, then take those skills maybe to another job potentially. I think I'm sure they're grateful for being pushed.
I mean, I hope so, but
I'm
some really
sure.
don't like to be pushed. Some don't like it, some don't survive. There is a lot of man-female ego sometimes, you know, so it's not easy to be a woman in a main word, I'm telling you, especially like in when you're talking about blue collars, or we're talking about some people that are used to, again, average low being the norm. It's tough. I mean, so many times I find myself in situations where I'm be like, I wish I was a man just for 5 minutes because I want these guys to listen to me. And then I just have to man up and like put it in my head. Okay, act as if you were a man, and just like, I don't like screaming and shouting and all that stuff. So it's not me.
Right.
And I always try to keep my cool, but sometimes it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, I can
Like
imagine.
I'll give you just a simple thing. We're moving warehouses.
Right.
So I get a contractor and we agree on everything that needs to be shifted and moved. Yesterday I go and then I'm like, okay, you moved 50%. Where is the other 50%? He's like, oh, sorry, I took another job. I can't do it.
Oh gosh.
And I'm like, what? But we agreed on the price, we agreed on the timeline. Like, yeah, it's a lot of work, and my boss told me to take the other job. So why don't you find somebody else?
That's terrible. I
So
mean,
those type of situations.
This is one of just a few challenges that you have to deal with as a business owner.
Oh God, yeah, it's a lot of challenges. So then I had like literally to start screaming at the guy, and I'm like, you can't do that. You gotta find a solution. And they're like, oh no, oh blah, blah. I mean, it was tough, and I find myself in quite a lot of these situations where sometimes I wish I could just have like the smallest possible business where I'm the only one working, because the more you work with people and contractor and people that are not professional, the more it makes you don't want to work with anyone anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they say that's the hardest part of having a business is managing a team.
Yes, it is. It's really tough. And you know, again, we're in the UAE. We have people from different culture and religions and way of doing things and sensibilities and egos, and having so many nationalities is amazing, but at the same time people are really 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 hard to manage, and I can see it, you know what I mean, because when you have all of them from the same nationality, they gang up and push themselves down, and then when you have different nationalities, they don't like to work together, and you just have to try until you find the right mix, and I can tell you until today it's not an easy thing. It's tough.
It's
Some
the thing.
people are with me since the beginning, and some people are just not going to make it for over a month or two. I know they won't make it.
It's the thing I hear from all entrepreneurs or business owners, that is the most challenging aspect, like having a team that functions well, that you can keep motivated and inspired, and also then that they adopt to the culture that you're building. So yeah, I hear it from everybody.
And I'm somebody that is very flexible in terms of working hours, where they work from, and all that stuff, because most of the time I'm like, work from wherever you want. All we want is the end result, you know. But it's not easy. It's
If you could give a piece of advice to any mom, would there be anything that you specifically would give in terms of advice to moms?
Any advice I would give a mom is like, enjoy the time you spend with the little ones, because they grow very fast. Enjoy the moment and try to just disconnect from any phone or anything, and just enjoy the moment with the kids, and know that you're doing the best, because I see so much mom guilt going on, and so much bullying and pressure going on social media, and I just think that it's unfair. Because I don't know any mom that wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be a bad mom today. I think every single one of us is trying to do their best, and every single one of us is like doing the best they could, and even more than what the kid even is expecting from us. So I think at some point we just need to be nicer on ourselves, and make sure we enjoy the moment, and enjoy whatever we feel is the right thing we do with our child. You know, it's your child, you do whatever you want, you enjoy your time, and you take your decisions, and there is nobody that should judge you and take you down. And I see it a lot. I mean, I'm on some Facebook groups where the moms are just wow. Judging and taking down others, and like, what, you give that to your kid, how come, how shame, blah blah.
I love that. It's such an important message, right? I think, yeah, mom guilt is huge, and having the added pressure that other people then add to that guilt is not helpful at all. If you had a piece of advice for a mom, like building her own business or a new venture, do you have any advice for her?
I mean, use your network. Make sure that word of mouth is there. Make sure you use your network to spread your idea, to help you test the product, test whatever you want to do. Believe it will work, and go for it. Honestly, like, there is no shame in building something from scratch. I think whatever it is, be proud of it, spread the word, make sure you use your connection, your friends, your family, everyone, and believe it will work. I mean, I know so many people, so many of my friends that own businesses, and a lot of them, they're like, oh, whenever we talk to you, we go back and we want to do it better, but when we don't see you for a long time, we feel we should stop. And I'm like, just believe in it. If you don't believe in it, then don't do it. If you don't believe in your product, what would the customer do? I mean, you gotta believe in it 1,000 times, hoping that the customer will believe in it 20 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you, as the person behind it, don't believe in it, then just don't waste your time and don't waste your money.
And how do you
so believe in your thing?
Yeah. You have to have that belief to be able to drive it forward.
Yes, and you know, for me, we launched it. It was a side thing. It was fun, and then it picked up. And the more it kept on picking up, and people loving it, and people sending me messages daily saying, "We love it. Thank you." The lunchbox came back empty. The only thing I was thinking about is that the smile on that mother's face when she opens the lunchbox and the food has been eaten and not tantrum and the kids are happy. Before, I mean, I was on a on a WhatsApp group in my school, in my son's school, and this mother sent this very cute message, not knowing that I own Citron, right? She just said, my son lost his elephant or his giraffe foot pick, and he won't eat his fruits anymore. So if any one of your kids took it, please, if you can return it back, because I don't know where to buy them from. And those were ours, and she didn't know that. And then I just answered back saying, oh, I think Ali took them, I'll send you a box tomorrow. And I just sent her a new box, and she literally like sent me like a message where she was like teary eyes saying, thank you so much, you have no idea, he would not touch his fruits if we don't put that. And you see, like, money wise, for sure I'm not making what I used to make, but for me, hearing that a kid is eating fruit because he has the right tools is all worth it. So that's enough for me to make it all worth it, you know. And this is what drives me daily is everybody's feedback, and everybody's is that people are happy, that the kids are eating better, and this is all I want.
Such a heartwarming feeling that you're actually making a difference to a child and a mom, right? I can imagine why, like, you're so excited to wake up every day and do this day in, day out.
Honestly, like my son yesterday, I dropped him, as I was telling you, at football, and he came out and he's like, Mommy, you know, in my football, there were 3 little boys with a Citron water bottle. So now he can recognize them, and he tells them, this is my mommy's brand.
Oh, that's so sweet. I mean, you're a true inspiration. You're a true inspiration for your children, for sure. I'm like, it's amazing to be able to say that you're their mom.
I mean, I was at Spinny's last time with him, and I was just checking that everything was merchandised well. And there was one guy trying to buy a lunchbox, and Ali starts saying, look, mommy, he wants to take your product. And the guy looks at us, and he's like, oh, does he have the same one? Because obviously, you know. And I'm like, yeah, he has the same. And then Ali was like, no, this is my mommy's brand. And the guy was like, oh, are you the distributor of this brand? And I'm like, no, I own the brand, I created it. And the guy literally took for all his kids, and he's like, oh wow, it's a Dubai brand, I thought it's some European brand, blah blah blah. So cool. Well, if it's a Dubai based thing, I want to support. And he took so many more. And it's just that I feel very happy and proud of my son that he could recognize all these things. And I feel happy that he knows that all this is thanks to him, because he knows, and he comes with me to the warehouse, and when we do any design, especially the boys' designs, he reviews it. I remember the dino one we did, we had to change it, and the designer wasn't very happy about it because I was like, well, Ali thinks that this dinosaur is not the good dinosaur, it's the bad dinosaur, because apparently they're good and bad dinosaurs. And she said, what do you mean? And I'm like, I mean, we need to change it. And she's like, no, come on. And because like we roll it off in like bags and food jars, and I mean, it's so much work. And I'm like, sorry, we need to find the nice dinosaur. And we went ahead and we changed it.
He sounds like a true salesman though. So he managed to selfie, he's got input on the design. I think he's got his footage already.
He is, and he asks for, I would like a blue color. And he asked me like recently, he's like, can you please make me a water bottle but with the football stars? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, imagine there is Messi and Ronaldo. I'm like, that's gonna be difficult. I don't have that type of money to buy like all this stuff now, sorry. He's like, just I would like all my football players to be in there. So yeah, he's my source of inspiration, and as he grows, you will see the product growing with him, and the designs and the prints and everything we do will grow based on them, because he is my true source of inspiration, and I learn from him daily.
That's amazing, and I'm so excited to see the brand grow. It's incredible what you've achieved so far, and I wish you the best of luck going forward as well. I know you'll do amazing.
Thank you so much.
Why don't you take a little clip of a nugget of information that you love from this episode, share it on social media, and don't forget to tag at My Mama App and Citron Dubai.